Okay, let's go ahead and get started, and then we'll just kind of work through some of these. And I sent you all the announcement last night, and before that had the list of volunteer opportunities. I've never, to be honest with you, I've had more requests this year than I've ever had for people to help with their community, school, whatever type of garden. I actually have 2 more schools to add on to this list, and I'll do that after this meeting and send out those volunteer opportunities as well. But I think a lot of folks have started gardens and then realized the amount of work that's attached to them. So I think that we probably need to, they're looking for help. That doesn't mean that the expectation is that we do these gardens. It's just there's an opportunity out there for you all to take if you don't have a garden yourself, or if you want to kind of help out other gardens. I'm going to share that screen of opportunities and we'll just kind of walk through them. Okay, can you guys all see the screen that says CMG opportunities?
Yes.
They give me a thumbs up or a yes. Thank you, Linda. Okay, so Clint sent out an email yesterday regarding the Durango Farmers Market. We still have right now I'll reach out to the farmers market themselves. Clint mentioned the question of masks. I believe as of, whatever the most recent San Juan Basin Health announcement, if the function is outside, there's not an expectation to wear masks. My thing with the farmers market booth is that there would be 2 of you from 2 different homes, 2 different locations. And so there's that chance that, all the other booths that are at the market are typically single families or folks who have worked together very closely. Albeit there's going to be hundreds of people walking through that are not attached to those farms, booths, nonprofits, whatever it is. So I'll get better clarification as to the expectations of the farmers market. And then I will kind of cross-reference that with expectations from CSU. But I believe if CSU is just going to go back and say, do whatever your local health department is recommending. So I know that we're at about 50% vaccination rates. I'm assuming most of you have probably received at least 1 shot through your vaccine process. If you have, congratulations. But Clint, do you want to go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about the farmers market just to refresh people's memory, because we did not do it last year?
Sure, once I unmute. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, most of the old timers know the farmers market is a very crucial opportunity for us for public exposure for the programs that the Extension Office offers. It's one of our most visible opportunities in the community. And of course, it's a great way for not just the new people, but everyone to earn hours. There are 25 market dates this year. And that means we have to schedule 50 time slots with bodies. And unless we want to work people to death, we need, 15 to 20 people minimum to make that work. So we count on folks to sign up. It's really great if we can pair on a given date an old timer with a new apprentice. That's the best way for them to glean information from us who've been doing it for a while. If you're new, and by new I'm talking to last year's apprentices and this year's, I know it's intimidating, or you think it's intimidating, to go to a public setting and have questions thrown at you and have to answer them. The really wonderful thing about working the market is it's when you're learning as a master gardener really begins. It's fine to have the classes and learn what people may theoretically ask, but when they start actually inquiring and asking questions and the conversations start, they're wonderful conversations, and it will force you to learn the things that you didn't learn in the class, and that's good for the program and for you. So I sent out an email. The new volunteer management system the college had to set up because we lost the privilege of using California's system is really clunky. There is no longer a see the whole month at a time format like we had before. And so you just have to look through for dates, look at your own calendar. We know the market runs May through October. So look at your calendar, find dates when you want to work. And then please just send me an email personally, and you'll see my email here at the bottom of the farmer's market bullet. And let me know what dates you want. And we do need 2 people for each booth. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Clint. So yeah, we're somewhat, I'm going to be really cautious with, having a whole bunch of stuff that people can rifle through and touch and all that fun stuff. But I do, what Clint and others, Eric and some other folks throughout the years have created some demonstration stuff, some displays. They can either be static or they can be active. Those static displays are awesome. If it's a temperature map or a microclimate map that Clint's done, if it's, a poster on how to ripen tomatoes at the end of the year, anything that kind of draws people into the booth. And the other part of this too is if you don't feel comfortable being in that setting yet, we fully understand. It's not an expectation that you're going to have to do the farmer's market or anything, to be honest with you. For us with volunteer hours this year was similar to last year. Of the state recognizes the challenges attached to having a whole bunch of volunteers out and about in the community. We were hoping that we would be further along in this pandemic than we are, but with that, we're not going to say, okay, I need you 2021 class to get your 50 hours in. All the active master gardeners from previous years who were expected to do 24 hours. If you can only do 20 hours, if you can only do 10 hours, if you're not going to feel comfortable doing anything, that's okay with us right now. We want to make sure that everything is, you guys feel safe, you feel comfortable, and you feel like you want to actually volunteer. So we're not going to punish you at all if you have some concerns about your health or others' health or the community's health, whatever it is. I'm not going to question that, nor is the state. So we're going to be still looking at how many hours you guys do every year, and we'll be reporting those. So start to get more comfortable with this VMS system, spend 10 minutes on it, look at your profile, look and see if there's some opportunities, if you can find a calendar. Like Clint said, it's clunky. It's a work in process. We're forced to, float the ship as we are building it. So there's going to be some challenges attached to it. I know some of you have did this last year, and I would love to see you guys do it again this year. It's the Grow and Give program. I know a lot of folks on this call were really active participants and amazing donors. And thank you for that. This is one of those programs that definitely has kind of touched my heart and touched many people that, to showcase what we can do for our community. Last year we had over 30 gardens that donated some sort of produce, either vegetables or fruit, to either neighbors, other organizations, food banks, what have you, throughout the county. We were able to donate, it was like 3,980 pounds of food, something pretty astronomical. So almost 2 tons of food. We almost reached that 4,000 pound measure. And we were one of the top counties in the state. So we were up there at the same level as Denver and Jeffco and Larimer and Weld and Boulder County was at like over 10,000 pounds. But everybody else was, we were right there with everybody else. So that makes me really happy that you guys took this time. So once again, we're donating, or we're giving you guys up to 12 hours of volunteer time to grow your own food. If for some reason your garden fails or you have a freeze or life happens and you don't actually have the ability to donate the food, that doesn't hamper the number of hours that we're willing to take from you. So if you still put 12 hours into planting and, double digging or adding, soil amendments or whatever, we'll still count those hours because your intention was to donate that food. Then there's the Durango Botanical Gardens. I think I saw, oh, sorry, let me stop and share for a second. Bill is on this call. Bill, are you the current president still? Yes, with the Durango Botanical Gardens.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you want to talk about the DBG and some of the opportunities?
Yes, I do. And thank you for inviting us. And good morning, Master Gardeners of Colorado. Your graduation gift, I guess, will be hours and hours of mulching, weeding, watering, planting, raking, pruning, all in someone else's garden, not your own. You may even have time to get into your own garden, we hope. So I noticed that we have, I think I saw Gail Louder and Tish Varney. They're members of the Durango Botanic Gardens and volunteers. We always, and I know you're looking for volunteer hours, and we welcome people, particularly for garden maintenance. You see the library demonstration garden behind me. That was our first garden. And you may or may not know, Darren Parmenter was a founding board member of the Durango Botanic Gardens, and they got us off to a good start. We have volunteers, welcome volunteers for garden maintenance on Saturday mornings, usually, unless it's really rainy or cold, for a couple hours. You can work in the gardens on Saturday morning. You can also work on your own schedule. We started doing that, letting people just kind of come in when they want to, if they check with us first, so that they know what we need done. But as Darren was saying, we do a lot of events where we need people, not just for weeding, but people to escort people, hand out brochures. We could use people doing social media. If you're good at that, that would be great. I've done the website for 2 years. I'm a 76-year-old man. I shouldn't be doing websites these days, but so if you're kind of a website maven, boy, you would really be welcome. I might even pay you, I don't know. So not all of our volunteer activity is weeding. So a lot of things we can do. So Darren, if it's okay, I will run through some slides of our events.
Yeah, let me make you a co-host so you can share.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you should be able to share now, Bill.
Okay. Okay, let's see, share screen. Okay, are you seeing this?
Looks good.
Are you seeing my slides?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Okay, so as many of you know, we have gardens behind the library. That was our first garden, and then we've extended. In fact, if you see there on my left here, our crevice garden that was added a few years ago. And now we have gardens that have extended all the way to the north of the library. And as you'll soon see, we have a new garden plan for the west of the library entrance. Okay. All right, this is our mission statement, which is to create public gardens that demonstrate best practices, advance horticultural education, and celebrate the inspirational power of sustainable gardens. We also have a scientific component to what we do, in that we are a plant select garden. And so we report back on new plants that, or how plants are doing to them, so they can enter that into their data. And so what's ahead in 21? A lot of things you can help us with. For one thing, this is probably our newest garden. This will be our elevation grass garden. This is just above the crevice garden, and between the crevice garden and the sundial. We put in the hardscaping last year, and now planting will begin in a week or two, we hope, if we can find the grasses that we want at the nurseries. We just think the grass Ornamental grasses are maybe a little underutilized. They do a lot in terms of windbreaks, pollination capacity. And there's such a great variety of grasses, and that's one of the things we want to show in the grass garden. Now, again, that's something we'll be needing help with planting that garden very shortly. Now, this is a very exciting project. It's also the most ambitious, expensive project we've undertaken. As you can see, it's going to eventually cost $103,000. It is my responsibility, apparently, to raise the money. So all donations are welcome. And if you have 100,000 laying around, you don't need that IRA anyway. So anyway, so the literary garden, what we're trying to do with the literary garden is to kind of salute our partnership with the library and show the connection. We want to show how nature and gardens have inspired some of our favorite authors, poems and books, and trying to feature plants, trees, flora that have been played a starring role in many of our favorite books and poems. So very interesting project. We'll also, as you can see, we have 6 different planting beds there. And one of the things we're trying to do, in addition to showing the connection between nature and literature, is also to kind of encourage people to learn more about literary traditions that they may not be familiar with, like the indigenous peoples, Latinx, and others. So this is, we hope we might get started this summer with building the first bed, LG2 we call it, the indigenous bed. And so that we might get that started. I think we're going to have enough money to get that started this summer, and then probably do most of it or even finish it next year. So one of the concerns in our group is maintenance, because we're already, got a lot of gardens to maintain. So we're going to need a lot of help with maintaining this garden too. We are adding more art to the garden. That wall you see with plants painted on, that's been superimposed on, there's a parking lot retaining wall that's just kind of a big brown wall, we call it now. And we've retained a mural artist to paint a variety of flora on that wall. And it will have an educational component, because if you see that little cross section down there, we'll have both the common name and the scientific name of these plants. And roughly speaking, we'll be going from the left here to the right with our different elevations, from dry climates up to alpine and so forth. So this is going to be, this probably will start in probably 2 or 3 weeks. And you'll see that the artist out there, she'll probably be out there for about 3 weeks. Another art, we used to have a piece of art, and Darren probably remembers this, in the garden. It was like a train in a big circle. And I think that's been done by some kids at Durango High School. And but alas, it fell apart. And we're going to be putting on that pedestal in the demonstration garden this piece by Jeff Wise, Sailing the Circular Sea. Now, we're only renting that. We hope to keep changing out art in that spot all year. Okay, what's coming up that you can work at? Our big signature event each year is our Gardens on Tour. Some of you probably have been on that. That will take place June 26th. We'll also need people probably, as you can see, there are a couple of shifts. There's also training, so you can probably rack up a few hours at this particular event if you can find time to volunteer and help us with that. Not much to do there except guide people. You'll have met the homeowner, and they will tell you a little bit about the yard. You don't have to give a full-blown tour, but just mostly direct people. Another big event coming to town, August 4 to 8, is the North American Rock Garden Society. This will be about 200 to 300 rock garden nerds, as Mike Smedley calls them. But it's going to be a pretty big event. We are hosting a breakfast on August 7 and conducting tours of the garden. So we will definitely need people at that. So that would be another opportunity, August 4 to 8. Actually, our event would be August 7. This is probably our biggest moneymaker, our annual bulb sale. And this will, you can see these people here are packaging. So there's a lot of repackaging, and then another event at the farmer's market where people are picking up what they have purchased. The bulb sale was online last year and will again be online. And here are some dates. The online sale will take place in August, mid-August, and then we have about 3 or 4 days of repackaging all the bulbs that have been sold, and then we have a period of time where people can pick them up at various locations, the library, the farmer's market, and so forth. As I said, garden maintenance, which we're already in our third or fourth week of this through September. So usually a couple hours in the morning to work in the gardens. It's a lot of fun, and particularly post-pandemic, it's been like a party out there. People are so happy to get outside. Isn't that right, Gail? Gail Louder is one of our mainstay volunteers, and so we definitely need your help in garden maintenance. That's the core of what we do, actually. We've had our marketing committee has been giving a lot of tours. We've been, generally speaking, one of the things we're trying to do is just increase awareness of the Durango Botanic Gardens. What we've discovered is a lot of people see us working out there on a Saturday morning, but many people think that all that is done by the city, but it's not. It's all volunteer work. And so we're just trying to spread the word a little bit more about what we do, because that also helps with fundraising. And here's on this final slide, if you want to write down some email addresses, or I'm sure Darren has them for you too. Call us if you just have a question about what you might do or what is entailed in working on the Gardens on Tour, something like that. We'd love to hear from you, and we would definitely welcome you to help in any way you can. So I'll take questions, and if there are any.
Anybody have any questions for Bill?
Okay.
All right, Bill, thank you so much.
All right, well, thank you. And I hope to see you folks in the gardens, or at least give us a call and ask us what you can do to help us. Appreciate it.
Bill, you want to stop sharing? I gotcha. I'll stop sharing for you. Okay, let's go back. So I do see there's a couple questions in the chat. So Naomi had mentioned, are there any expectations for food one should be aiming for donation with Grow and Gift? Not at all. You know, if you can do ½ pound, awesome. We had some folks who donated well over a couple hundred pounds, so that was awesome too. So there's zero expectations. And then Linda asked, okay, so that's it. Yeah, I think the climate change talk, I don't know if Bill had that one. I have one that I gave to the Animas Valley Grange, which was similar. The one that I gave to DBG conference, I think those, you have to be a member to potentially view those, not sure.
Did you record the Grange one? Because that's when I had to leave and I didn't get to finish.
I'll try to find the link and send it to you.
That'd be great.
Darren, I'll see if I have a link to that. I could probably send to you to send to her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, I'm going to go back to share my screen, and we'll just talk here for a couple more minutes. And then you guys can be on your merry way. So the rest of these on this list are going to be a lot of opportunities at gardens themselves. So I know many of you have volunteered at the Needham Garden in previous years. I can tell you I'll be upset with you, Bill, if you take all of the hours from Gail, because she's like one of my most rock star weeders in the Needham Garden. So Gail, you have to spend your energy equally, or else I'm going to be sad. But see, some of these other ones that have popped in too. So Durango Food Bank has one where obviously all their food goes into the food bank. They're looking for someone to take over their small garden. That'll probably just be 1 or 2 people that would take that one on. Miller Middle School has a small school garden that they have teachers that work at during the school year, but during the summer months of June, July, August, they have trouble getting volunteers to help with those gardens. And there's a new one. This is Peter Shirt's down with Maria's. I don't know if you know they're starting all these bump outs for restaurants again in downtown Durango. Maria's has been in one that's somewhat unique in that they're not trying to sell anything or have it seating for eating. They just want people to come hang out, sit at tables, read a book, read the newspaper, talk with their friends. But last year they had a couple of large trees down there from Trees of Trail Canyon they put in, some shrubs just to kind of soften the fact that it's in the middle of pavement. But this year they're also doing veggies. So they're going to have some veggies down there. And I think they had some last year and they had a really good response from the people who were sitting there. This would be an opportunity for us to put a master gardener, kind of a yard sign, get some free publicity out of this space that's going to be really well used. So they are looking for 1 or 2 people to help with all aspects of the garden. Peter knows his stuff. He knows how to garden. He knows trees. So you're not dealing with a newbie or someone who's totally absent when it comes to garden. He just wants someone to help make sure it looks really nice, be creative with it, maybe plant some vegetables, and I'll have starts and he could have starts if you want to put some stuff in. But I think it'd be a cool opportunity for a couple of folks to take on. And then again, we also will continue to have, I'm not sure if we'll have apple days this year. I know many of you have worked with that, but I know the Good Food Collective is still doing fruit tree gleaning every summer and fall, that they will take volunteers to help glean with, and I'm willing to make those hours work for you all. We did our pumpkin drop off last year and had a lot of pumpkins and leaves and apples. Plan to do that again this year, so people to human those booths. So we're going to have plenty of opportunities for you all. And then don't forget that if you have your own opportunity or if you find some opportunity that's not on this list, just please let me know. So I'm all about it. My parameters are just has to be educational and horticultural in nature. That's it. So even if weeding isn't educational in nature at the library garden, the end result of that garden is that it's a demonstration garden with educational components. So that's why we're always happy to give those hours out. I'll spend a fair amount of time at the Needham Garden. So we have a couple folks there. I'll kind of start a sign up to happen for that one just because I tend to lead that one. For many of you on this call, you've seen me in a shoulder brace and I'm back in a shoulder brace. So I'm somewhat limited in what I can do when it comes to gardening this summer. I'm ended up just biting the bullet and getting a completely new shoulder. So I'm full of titanium and plastic now on my left shoulder, but I can't lift anything probably over the weight of a cup of coffee until September or October. So I can be there and I can yell at you and tell you what to do and point to things, but that's about it. I'll try to weed with one hand or do something with one hand. I'm getting pretty good with one hand. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge for me a little bit. So obviously any more hours that you all can help out would be awesome. Okay, I am going to stop sharing. I think I saw one more.
I did.
Okay, Linda, what was your question here?
Well, I have a bunch of tomato plants. Every single seed came up, and I'm going to have a plethora if I can donate them to one of the gardens or several gardens. I have about 40. I don't,
Yeah, and this is part of this too. Like, I'm sure some of these gardens will take them. I'm sure there's probably other gardeners within this, phone call and within an organization. Like, oh man, like I didn't have a chance to start this year. I got in the game too late. So for us to be able to just use emails and communication, just go through me.
okay,
And say, hey, I still have 10 Cherokee purple tomato starts. Anybody want them?
there I have.
Because again, I like that sharing the wealth. And I'm the same thing. For whatever reason, I think I put in over 200 pepper plants this year, and I'm going to use like 10. So
Right.
I'm going to have a lot of extra as well. So there's always that opportunity. And yeah, I'd say first and foremost, if we can get them into some of these school gardens or, food bank gardens, manna, that's the first priority. Anybody else have questions, comments? Okay, I'm sorry. Teresa asked what vegetables are most wanted to grow and give. My thing, like to me, like a green bean is I did a whole bed at Needham last year of just green beans. And it worked really well because that's something that can store for a little while. I like manna. It's something that's pretty easy to harvest. And most people like it. I could probably say if you're going to grow a whole bunch of kohlrabi, you may get manna being like, oh, great, sweet, 10 pounds of kohlrabi. We don't know what the hell to do with this, or it's a little more challenging to utilize. So think of those things that can store pretty well and that people tend to like more than anything else. So carrots, I guarantee you people will take them. Beets, people will take them. Tomatoes, they'll take those. Probably not a whole lot of hot peppers. They're not going to be excited about hot peppers because you don't want to. You want to make things that are palatable for the vast majority of folks to utilize. Potatoes, people will definitely. That's an easier one that can be harvested towards the end of the year. So, yeah, just think of those things that can store and are relatively easy, and the majority of people like. Anybody else have questions, comments? We do have two 2021 students on this call. There's Karen and Ellen. So welcome to you both. This is a small smattering of this group. It's always a challenge to get onto a Zoom because people still actually
Hey,
work.
Darren,
Yes, Ann.
where do people take their extra produce? Because the Grange, they have a program also, and they were kind of concerned about how not to kind of make people feel like they're, I don't know, like they want to find people that need the food, but they don't want to really kind of make them stand out in any way, like to keep it, kind of private.
There's definitely a stigma attached to taking free anything, and free food was one of those things. I can tell you, manna is really easy in that you just go to manna, you stick it on their back. There's a table they have at the back of their place. You put whatever you want out there, just kind of put it into a bag or something, and then they'll record it and utilize it. And there's I've never felt like there was a stigma attached to going to manna. Durango Food Bank is the same, so now they have some refrigeration. Pine River Shares in Bayfield, they'll take anything and everything for folks out that way. So I do think that there's those opportunities, and it's a good question. But yeah, I think that we can do this without making anybody feel as if they should feel shame for taking some free food. Thank you. Let's go back to the comments. So yeah, Eric took a lot of food to manna last year. It looks like they took almost everything. Okay. Anybody else have any comments for the good of the cause? All right. So please just reach out to these folks. Reach out to me if you need to. Looking forward to volunteer opportunities. Looking to see many of you. And not on a computer screen. Wouldn't that be fun? So enjoy the rest of your sunny day before the winds come. And thank you all for everything you do. And Bill, thank you for being part of this as well. Appreciate that. All right. Take care, everybody.